The counterintuitive way business ideas for stay-at-home moms actually work. That took 5 minutes. The coffee had gone cold again. Another morning balancing the noise of the house and the quiet question she kept avoiding. Can I really build something of my own? She scrolled through her phone during the brief silence between breakfast chaos and the laundry that never seemed to end, watching other mothers talk about their businesses, their freedom, their breakthroughs. She wasn't chasing millions, just freedom, the kind that fits between nap times and school pickups. But every time she opened a blank document to start planning, the cursor just blinked back at her, waiting for a brilliance she wasn't sure she possessed. Part of her still felt guilty for wanting more, as if ambition had to disappear when motherhood began. The truth is, she'd tried before. A year ago, she'd signed up for an online course about starting an e-commerce store, convinced that passion and a good idea were all she needed. She'd picked a niche she loved, designed a logo, even drafted product descriptions late into the night after everyone else was asleep. But the idea didn't come from a business book. It came from the mess on her kitchen table. One morning, while organizing her daughter's art supplies for the third time that week, she noticed something. The containers she'd bought kept breaking, the labels peeled off. Nothing stayed organized for more than a day. She spent 5 minutes sketching a better design on the back of a grocery receipt. Something modular, stackable, with built-in labels that actually stuck. Then she took a photo and posted it in a parenting group, asking if anyone else dealt with the same frustration. Within an hour, 17 mothers had commented. By evening, 43. By the next morning, someone had messaged her asking where they could buy it. She stared at that message for a long time. Maybe success just wasn't meant for someone like her, but something shifted in that moment. Not confidence exactly, more like permission. Permission to wonder if the smallest observation could mean something bigger. Here's what most people get wrong about business ideas for stay-at-home mums. They think it starts with market research, competitor analysis, or a perfect business plan. But the counterintuitive truth: the best ideas don't come from trying to predict what people want. They come from noticing what you already need. She smiled, not because it was easy, but because it was finally hers. That weekend, she spent 5 minutes every morning just observing. What annoyed her? What did she wish existed? What problems did she solve in her own home that no one was talking about? The list grew quickly. A meal planning system that actually accounted for picky eaters, a way to organize digital photos without drowning in apps, a scheduling method that made room for the unpredictable nature of parenting. According to recent studies, small home-based businesses led by women are growing 40% faster than other segments, proof that clarity often beats capital. What would you have done in her place? She chose the simplest idea on her list, the one that required no inventory, no complicated software, no upfront investment. She decided to create a digital template for meal planning that worked around real family chaos. It took her 5 minutes to sketch the layout, another hour to refine it in a free design tool. By the end of the week, she had something she'd actually use. Then came the doubt, the kind that whispers louder than failure. Who would pay for something she made in her kitchen? What if people laughed? What if it proved she really wasn't cut out for this? She almost gave up, until one message changed everything. A mother from the same parenting group had seen her previous post and messaged asking if she'd ever created that container design. When she explained she was working on something different now, the woman responded with something that stayed with her. Please share it when you're done. We need more real solutions from people who actually live this life. Real solutions from people who actually live this life. She posted her meal planning template in the group with a simple caption. Made this for myself. If it helps you too, it's yours for $5. 3 people bought it in the first hour, then 7 more. By the end of the day, 23 mothers had paid for something she'd created between morning cartoons and afternoon pickup. The money itself wasn't life-changing, but the realization was. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress. It looks like staying. She didn't quit her rhythm. She didn't suddenly become a different person or abandon her responsibilities. She just kept observing, kept creating in those 5-minute pockets, kept showing up in the small ways she could manage. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, but it no longer felt like chaos. It felt like possibility. The second template sold better than the first. The third one generated messages from mothers asking if she could customize it. The fourth one led to a small waiting list before she even finished designing it. Here's the pattern she discovered. The counterintuitive way business ideas actually work isn't about having the perfect concept before you start. It's about starting with what you notice, testing it in 5 minutes, and letting the response guide you forward. Most business advice tells you to validate your idea through extensive research. But for stay-at-home mums, validation often comes from the problems you're already solving in your own home every single day. She learned to trust the frustrations, hers and others. Every complaint in a parenting group was a potential product. Every makeshift solution she created for herself was a possible template someone else would pay for. Within 3 months, she had a small library of digital products, meal planners, cleaning schedules designed around unpredictable toddler naps, budget trackers that accounted for irregular expenses, printable activity packs for rainy days. None of them required inventory. None of them demanded her to be available at specific times. All of them came from 5-minute observations that turned into solutions. The transformation wasn't dramatic. There was no overnight success story, no viral moment that changed everything. Just consistent, quiet progress that fit into the life she was already living. But here's what did change. The guilt started to fade, not because she'd proven anything to anyone else, but because she'd proven something to herself. Ambition didn't have to look like abandoning motherhood. It could look like building something that worked alongside it. She started noticing patterns in what sold and what didn't. The products that performed best weren't necessarily the most polished or professionally designed. They were the ones that solved the most specific, relatable problems. A generic meal planner sold occasionally. A meal planner specifically designed for mothers with one picky eater and one adventurous eater sold consistently. A basic cleaning schedule got moderate interest. A cleaning schedule that could be paused and resumed without guilt when life got overwhelming became her best seller. The lesson repeated itself. Specificity beats perfection every time. What helped her most wasn't just Canva Pro. It was realizing that she didn't need permission to start small. She tested a few tools before finding what truly worked, and honestly, it changed everything. Having access to templates, design elements, and the ability to create professional-looking products without a steep learning curve made those 5-minute creation windows actually productive. This isn't a promotion, just something that made her path a little lighter. She'll leave the link below if you want to explore it. By month 6, something unexpected happened. Mothers who'd bought her products started messaging her with their own ideas, their own frustrations, their own 5-minute observations. She realized she wasn't just building a business. She was building a community of women who were done waiting for permission to create. She started a simple email list, nothing fancy. Just a weekly message sharing what she was working on, what problems she was trying to solve, what she was learning along the way. The response surprised her. Mothers wrote back sharing their own stories, their own attempts, their own fears about whether they were capable of building something meaningful. She responded to every message, not with expert advice, but with empathy, with acknowledgement, with the reminder that starting didn't require certainty. The business grew, but not in the way she'd imagined when she first started searching for the perfect idea. It grew through iteration, through listening, through noticing what resonated and doing more of that, through letting go of what didn't work without attaching her identity to the failure. She learned that business ideas for stay-at-home mums aren't about having one brilliant concept. They're about developing a practice of observation and rapid creation. 5 minutes to notice a problem, 5 minutes to sketch a solution, 5 minutes to test if anyone else cares. That rhythm became her foundation, not because 5 minutes was magic, but because 5 minutes was manageable. It was the antidote to the perfectionism that had kept her frozen for so long. There were still hard days. Days when the kids were sick and she couldn't open her laptop. Days when self-doubt crept back in and whispered that she was delusional for thinking this mattered. But those days happened less frequently. And when they did, she had something she didn't have before. Proof. Proof that her observations mattered. Proof that her solutions helped. Proof that she could build something meaningful in the margins. When she poured her coffee the next morning, it was still hot, because this time she wasn't rushing. She was building. A year after that first template sale, she'd generated enough revenue to cover her family's grocery budget every month. Not retirement money, not quit-your-job money, but meaningful money that came from her own ideas, created in her own time, shaped by her own life. More importantly, she'd generated something money couldn't measure, a sense of capability, a quiet confidence that came from turning observations into solutions, from trusting her instincts, from proving to herself that she could create value in the world she already inhabited. She still gets messages from mothers asking how to start, and she always gives them the same advice. Don't wait for the perfect idea. Just spend 5 minutes noticing what frustrates you today. Then spend 5 minutes creating the simplest possible solution. Then spend 5 minutes sharing it with one person who might need it too. The counterintuitive way business ideas for stay-at-home moms actually work is that they don't require you to become someone else. They require you to pay attention to who you already are. Tell us what part of her story resonated with you most and where you're watching from. Your journey might just inspire the next one. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. See you in the next video. Bye.